Hopefully, I have the audio right. For most of my life, I thought being alone and being lonely were the same thing. And looking back, I don't really think that they are. If this is the first time you're finding one of these videos, a little bit of context. A few months before this chapter, my dog Blade, who had been my best friend for 10 years, passed away. Before that, I'd lost my younger brother, and by this point, my world had become very quiet. I worked from home since 2020, so when Blade died, it wasn't like I came home from work and realized he wasn't there. I was already at home every day, all day. The house didn't become quiet when I got home. It was quiet from the moment that I opened my eyes. And that changed everything. For 10 years, my routine revolved around him. Not because it had to, because I wanted it to. He needed to go outside, he needed walks, he needed breakfast, he needed dinner, he needed exercise. Even if I didn't feel like leaving the house, I left the house because Blade needed me to. And after he was gone, I realized something that honestly scared me. I didn't have to leave anymore. Not really. My office was upstairs, my bedroom was upstairs, the bathroom was upstairs. If I didn't feel like eating, I didn't even have to come downstairs. And technically, I could wake up, work, go back to bed, and never step foot outside. That realization felt much heavier than I expected, and not because I wanted to stay upstairs forever, because I realized there was nothing pulling me back into the world anymore. The only reason I had to leave my house was to see my family, see my friends, or go to the gym. But grief doesn't always care what you know is good for you. Sometimes things that even those things feel impossible. And on those days, there wasn't anyone depending on me to get up. I think that's when I understood something. For years, I thought I was good at being alone. And I was. I loved traveling by myself. I loved spending time alone. I genuinely enjoyed my own company. But this was very different. Becoming comfortable alone is not the same thing. It's not the same thing as realizing no one is waiting for you to get out of bed. That was a new feeling, one that I hadn't experienced before. I also realized for the first time in my adult life, there wasn't anyone I was organizing my life around. My brother was gone, Blade was gone, I wasn't in a relationship, my calendar wasn't built around someone else's needs anymore. And at first, that felt incredibly empty. I kept waiting for something, for someone to tell me what I needed to do next, but nothing came, just silence. And looking back, I don't think that silence was trying to punish me. I think it was asking me a question I never really stopped long enough to consider. Who are you? When no one needs something from you today, who are you? And I didn't have an answer, not at that time. And I wasn't looking for one. I was just trying to make it through each day. But slowly, almost without realizing it, my attention started to shift. Not towards another person, but towards myself. I started wondering what I enjoyed, what I wanted, what kind of life I wanted to build for myself if I wasn't building it around someone else. And those weren't exciting questions, at least not yet. They were uncomfortable because I'd never really had space to ask them before. And looking back now, I think this chapter was about loneliness. I think it was about stillness. Stillness has a way of showing you things you've been too busy to notice. At the time, I thought the silence was something I needed to escape. I had no idea it was also creating space for a completely different version of my life to begin. Every episode on this channel is another chapter of my life. They don't have to be watched in order, but together they tell one story. So thank you for listening.